Yeah, this is another discussion, another daily discussion that I do before I leave and start my day, you know. And I decided to name these talks Pearls to Swine. And it goes off of the quote from Jesus, which he told the disciples, don't cast your pearls to swine or give holy things unto dogs, lest they trample over them and rend you or attack you, right? So I'm basically saying that these talks are going to waste because, people, I'm not saying people are swine, but the whole idea of the people's interest seems to be entertainment, gossip, politics, current events, video games. Like the things I talk about are not really, on the top of people's list of being interested in. So I'm just going to do it anyway because I like to talk about things that are eternal and timeless. So I call this Pearls to Swine, and I might actually, make it a little bit more professional with the production quality, introductions, music, and whatnot. It depends. Or just keep, every day just jump in here to talk about some things. But today I had a particular topic I wanted to discuss. Then I had another topic I wanted to discuss, but I want to make one video. So I'm going to talk about both topics, right? The first topic is about courage. And the second topic is about the nature of the earth and the world we living in is whatever you want, that's exactly what you get. It's like magic, but it's a method behind it. It's a science behind it. But the first topic, courage is a virtue. It's one of the virtues talked about in the book The Republic by Plato, when he deals with the idea of the perfect nation. And a perfect nation is relative to a perfect human being. And a perfect human being must be rich in virtue. And there's 4 particular virtues that this particular human being has. And they call this person, actually this person is the guardian of the republic. They say this person must have these 4 virtues: wisdom, temperance, courage, and justice. And these particular virtues must all, weigh each other, balance each other out, right? People look at courage as if courage is always being aggressive towards danger, head first towards drama. They see that as courage, right? But that's not really courage. They call that a vice. Like the 2 sides of courage. Courage is like the middle, the golden mean of these 2 extremes, right? The first extreme is cowardice. The second extreme is being rash, always running like a bull. But in the middle, you got courage, right? And sometimes to not fight is a sign of courage. To not attack, to not do, because the situation might be you have the advantage, but it's not really noble to attack. Or you could be scared of the backlash from your surrounding peers. So a lot of people attack because they are afraid of the ridicule that comes from not attacking. But because they attack doesn't necessarily mean they have courage. The fact that they were scared to not attack, scared to not violate, was a sign of cowardice, even though they did the attack, right? So courage is really, it deals with intelligence, being able to discern right from wrong, when to attack, when not to attack, when to engage, when not to engage. And then the temperance aspect deals with, like in the Quran, it talks about fight with those who fight with you, but don't transgress limits. Like there's always a limit. You don't go too far. Like if a person is retreating, or if a person is going toward a holy place, you don't fight. There's a certain limit to it. You don't transgress those limits. Like you have to have limits on yourself. You don't go too far. You don't just run into any type of drama, because a lot of times You are being manipulated into a trap. You are being led to the slaughter because they know you're going to rush and have, a full force because you don't want to be seen as a weak person. So you got to attack and you have to engage every situation, right? But courage doesn't necessarily have to involve physical battle. Courage can also be a path that you take in life. Now, when I grew up in this city called Chicago, it seems to me that everybody was on the same exact path. They was gangsters, prostitutes, drug dealers. They was shooting. It's like everybody did the same thing, right? And they did not really deviate because, how the society is set up. There's rewards. They reward certain behaviors, right? And people want those behaviors, and they also punish behaviors or non-behaviors. So if you don't go and ride, you don't do the things everybody else is doing, you will be seen as weak. But sometimes it takes courage to not follow everybody's path, or not follow the mainstream path, which is to be a gangster, criminal, drop out of school. I didn't really see too many people growing up. The elders that I looked up to, they was just followers. I didn't really see them getting into business, real estate, politics. I didn't see them doing anything other than the set path that was set for us by these movies. We got New Jack City, we got Scarface, Superfly. It's like they was all brainwashed into following this path, but they didn't have enough courage to go outside of that. So even though they are glorified in the streets as these gangsters, most of them are dead and in prison. And most of them probably wish they didn't follow that path and chose another path in life. Like, they didn't really travel the world. They didn't really get a college degree, doctorate degree, become lawyers, doctors, scientists. There's so much that they failed to realize in their life because they didn't have the courage to not be a follower. So courage also, it determines your path, and also it is identified what the danger you're willing to face as an individual. Are you willing to deal with the ridicule and the shame for not doing what you were supposed to do, not going and taking vengeance upon a person. You take vengeance. Sometimes you take vengeance because society says you got to go retaliate and take vengeance. But you looking like, why would I do that and go and risk going to prison for 60 years? But if you don't take vengeance, they're going to look at you like you don't have courage. But in reality, you do have courage because you have to deal with all of the criticism that you're getting from your community. Or say you want to go to school and get a college degree and you don't want to hang around the rest of the gangsters. They're going to say you don't have the courage to hang around the gangsters. But they don't realize it's harder to go to school and to maintain your sanity without having fast money, without having easy access to the women, to the prestige, the glory. You're literally on your own, facing the entire world without the help of your community. And that takes a lot of courage. But people don't really see the true aspect of courage, meaning that there's a time to attack and there's a time to not attack. There's a time to walk away. Sometimes walking away from a situation takes more courage than engaging in that situation. That's all I want to say about courage. It's a virtue. And a virtue deals with the highest aspects of the Most High God. Like in the book of Genesis, he say, look at man, he became like one of us, knowing both good and evil. They say, let us take away the tree of life so he won't eat thereof and live forever, right? But to know good and evil, meaning to know what proper decision to make. It's not just cookie cutter, always on charge. You got to know when to do and when not to do. You got to have wisdom. See, courage, wisdom, temperance, meaning limits, and Justice, weigh in, is it right or wrong? Does this situation require this particular response? That's justice. Or should I just not, engage in that situation because the situation doesn't require that response? So you got to balance all four of those virtues together to be this particular noble guardian of the Republic, right? And courage is one of the virtues, just one. But I want to talk about the second topic was everything in this world that you want, you will get. And how this society is set up, they are manipulating people's expectations for what they want and what they feel they deserve. So people settle for something that they shouldn't settle for. Poor housing, minimum wage, poor education, and they actually are wanting those things. They want minimum wage. They want poor housing, Section 8, how they get on these lists. They want very little, and that's exactly what you get. By some miracle, you might not get that. But if you actually wanted more, better housing, if you actually wanted a family structure in which you was married with children instead of just being a baby daddy, a baby mama, you will get that. Because your standards will not allow you to settle for something less. You will not take no for an answer. But want, whatever it is that you want, it will manifest itself. It will happen. If you want to be rich, you are going to be rich. If you want to be poor, if you're just satisfied with eating a McChicken, that's all you're going to get. You're going to get just enough because our mind is interconnected with this universe. It's almost like we manifest the universe in our thoughts, and we actually accept. Like if you accept something, you won't feel something is lacking. Like say for instance, my goal is to fill up this bucket, right? And I intend to fill the bucket up. If there's a hole in this bucket and it's not filling up, I'm gonna figure out what's wrong, and I will try to patch this hole because my bucket needs to be filled up. But if I'm just satisfied with just getting some water in there, the leakage will not offend me because I got the small amount that I wanted. A person will not stop until they get what they want. But the key is you have to set your limits to what you want. You got to set your limits to so high of an expectation. Don't say I want to make $15 an hour. Say I want to eventually be the boss of my corporation. Or when they ask you what do you want on your application, tell them you want 500,000. Instead of saying you want 20,000, choose something a little bit higher or more higher. And you will not stop until you find that position. If you never find that position, you will never be satisfied. You won't be satisfied, and satisfaction is the enemy. You don't want to be satisfied. For one, satisfaction is intertwined with wants and desires. If you set your desire for something on such a small level, it's easy to satisfy that. And once you're satisfied, your drive will be diminished. In order to not be satisfied, in order to keep pursuing something greater in your life, you have to set your wants and your expectations in such a high level that it might be impossible for you. Like right now, you might never, fulfill those desires, but your satisfaction will never hit you if you don't feel those desires. Like every day, we have basic desires of needing sleep. We need sleep. We need to, it's like impossible to not get sleep because your body forces you to sleep. You will be hungry. You will need water to drink. You will need clothes. You will have to put clothes on your body, shoes on yourself. If you go outside in the winter, you got to put a particular coat. But the type, you see what I'm saying? The particular type of food, the particular type of clothes, or the type of location determines on your expectations and your wants. Some people will be satisfied with just going to, like me, I could go to McDonald's. But some people, they need to go to the steakhouse. Some people need to get the best clothes. They need to be in the best cars. And they won't be satisfied. They will try their best to fulfill those daily needs. But when you look at a career, something that takes time, you will actually go to school, get your bachelor's degree, get your master's degree, get your doctorate degree to fulfill your wants for this life of having lots and lots of money, lots of success. And some people, they are satisfied with helping people. In order to help people, you need money, lots and lots of money in order to help people. And your desire to help people will bring you the resources necessary. You won't be satisfied. All you do. People actually will help you help people. But you're not trying to get money though. That's just gonna come. But your whole desire is to help as many people as you can. And whatever it takes to do that, you will not be satisfied until it happens. If you want to build houses for people, you want to build a community center, a school, whatever you want to do, whatever goal you set for yourself, you will not be satisfied until that goal is fulfilled. And that just goes with the principle of the human being sets the standard for their own life, and whatever they want will manifest itself. They will not sleep properly until it happens. But I'm just telling people they need to just set their standards very high for themselves, regardless of what other people thinking. If your own standards is high, you will figure it out. You will figure a way to make it happen. And usually people, food, clothes, shelter, reproduction. And then if you want a community, and really the highest thing you could do in this world, the greatest thing that you could do is to help people. Because all you have in this world is your word and the people that you helped. You don't want to leave this planet where nobody benefited from you. You never helped a person with knowledge. You never helped a person with food, clothing, shelter. You didn't feed the poor. You didn't help the poor get out of poverty. You didn't improve people's lives. And that's your true salvation, is to come to this planet to contribute something to people. People use literature, music. They contribute that to people. They contribute thoughts and ideas. The Egyptians and the Mayans and the Aztecs, the Native Americans, they built a lot of buildings. The Moors, the Carthaginians, they built a lot of civilizations that people are still living in right now. Even if they don't get the glory for it, they left that behind. And that shows their greatness. That shows your greatness. Whatever you help the next generations, contributed something to your, not even just the next generation, but your surroundings. Contributed something to your surroundings. Outside of just your own self, that's the true greatness, and that's the true salvation. And that makes a person immortal. That's it. That's all.